Welcome back to Total Line. Joining me today, fresh off his fight at BKB 36 against Ionel Levitchi, George Hillyard. George, how you doing?
Hey, man, I'm good, thank you. Thanks for having me back on.
That's all right. So, how's it been? How's the cut doing? How's
Yeah,
everything been since
the
the
cuts,
fight?
the cuts. You can see that I'll put the hat on tonight just to try and cover it a little bit. But yeah, listen, it's healing. Yeah, so we'll get ready to go again in May. Hopefully, it's going to be the rematch. I don't know if you've been seeing stuff over social media with me, and so hopefully, yeah. So hopefully there'll be a free title as well. So, but we'll see what happens. What Jim
Yeah.
and Joe are going to put there.
Looking back at the fight, when we spoke to you after the fight, you
Yeah.
were pretty unhappy with the decision. Talk me through that, like
Yeah.
about it.
Listen, I can't go too much into it. I'm not here to be slagging anyone off or talk bad about anyone. But it's it's my I genuinely thought I won the fight, and so did 90% of the crowd, 99.9% of the crowd, especially his fans as we was walking out, and all thought that I won it. And but yeah, it's one of them things. Yeah, I have to. Do you know what I mean? I have to take it on the chin and take another loss.
Yeah, I mean, it was a very competitive fight, very even either side. I think it's
Yeah,
one of those ones where you both fight very differently. So maybe like people are seeing things, but the
yeah.
judges must have seen something to give it that way. Do you know what
Well,
I mean? Like,
I had a England coach in my corner, and he said the only way they can score him is because he didn't stop coming forward, throwing punches. He went, but boxing's about hitting and not getting hit. He went, yeah. He went, some of it like obviously the power shots look like he went, but for his one power shot, I've hit him with four jabs. So how does that? You know what I mean? So, but listen, as I said, I'm not going to sit here and dwell on it. It is what it is. And hopefully we get it all again in May for hopefully for the title.
yeah. Do you think the kind of the damage you took might have factored into it? Because obviously, it shouldn't matter, but I mean the optics affects how
Yeah,
you judge
yeah,
it, right? Do you know what I mean? So,
yeah, you're right there. Yeah, it
mm,
could well played because that cut was horrendous.
mm.
Like it was it was horrendous that cut.
I
And
thought they were going to stop the fight.
do you know what? But every time I went back to the corner, the doctor was saying to my corner, "That cut is horrendous. Stop the fight." And I was like shouting out. You probably could all hear me outside. I was like, "Don't you effing stop this fight! No one's stopping this fight." And yeah, and I was getting told to shut up and let me concentrate on the cut, which she done a fantastic job on.
Yeah, did it affect you at all? Like, obviously you've got the adrenaline in there, but like, did you
Yeah,
find that
no,
anything about the cut?
obviously, it just changed my game plan because instead of me then going forward and wanting to mix it with him, I boxed. So it was just about jabbing and hitting and like and it, yeah, and that's why I just hit him with a jab, stick him jab, hitting and moving, and that's what boxing's about. And yeah, we stuck to that game plan and unfortunately they put me down as a loss. So obviously they don't like the general rules of boxing. I'm joking.
With that cut, do you like you say it kind of switched up your game plan? Is that did you find yourself kind of more cautious on that left side more? Are you guarding more there, or
No,
how does it realize itself? How does that
it's
affect you fighting?
it's a cut. Right, as I said, you can't get in the bath without getting wet. I'll probably say this in every interview with you now. Right, as I said, it's part of boxing. If I didn't like it, I wouldn't be doing it anymore. You know what I mean, and I kind of get off of it in some kind of weird way. I think most of us boxers do. You know what I mean, so it is what it is, and I'm professional enough now to just crack on with it.
Yeah. Yeah. How talk to me about obviously you feel like you should have won the fight. We can only go from what the judges say, but
Yeah,
you
of
know,
course.
how does that kind of like affect you kind of mentally, your kind of mindset going forward?
Well, it was just, do you know what? It was really nice. Obviously, getting out after the walking out of that arena, walking out of the O2, and his fans like coming up to us asking for pictures done, and general people that are supporting other people. They're all going, "We don't know how you lost. We thought you won it." And yeah, it was nice. But well, listen, we come back again. We just go again. As I said, records are for DJs.
Yeah, I suppose obviously it's a shame that you have that loss on your record now in BKB, but I mean, being in these competitive fights is I think is when it's in itself in a way, being able to kind of go out there, be involved in these fights that could have gone either way. It's
Totally,
better to have that and a few losses than to just to steamroll it and not
totally,
have that competition, right?
totally. Well said. Well said. Um, listen, what an hard, tough man he was as well, and what a fantastic fight for the crowd to witness. And I mean, and for the promotional team, it was great work from them, from Jim and Joe. It was great work from everyone. Um, it was, yeah, it was another fantastic sellout show. Um, and it can only get better. Even on the next show, it can only get better. It can only get better. And yeah, so what a fantastic show! What a fantastic fight as well. I'll tell you one thing: he can half it. I've never been it so hard. I mean,
Yeah, a lot of people say that about Levicci. Everyone who's fought him says he hits really, really hard.
yeah, he does. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
he does. I thought I hit hard, but I think he may have took my name now. But I remember after he went, like when we spoke after he went, I hit people. He went, they go over. He went, I hit you. He went with my best shot. He went, I went if I did my like certain bits of weight, if I had drained myself like I did in the previous fight, he would have knocked me clean out. I mean, he would have seriously probably wouldn't even be here talking to you right now. But yeah, but what an incredible and what a respectful man he is as well.
Mm. Yeah, a lot of respect shown on both sides, But yeah, Ionel's a very, he just loves to fight. He's one of those people,
He's a man.
he's not
No,
interested in all of the kind of bullshit and the talk that comes
exactly.
with
Yeah,
fighting.
yeah. He's a man. He's what real men are made of, and I like to call myself one of them. Do you know what I mean? He's just we don't talk and slag each other off. We just we fight and we entertain the crowd, and we like to get paid at the end of it.
Yeah. Yeah, it really was a great show. And for you as well, getting another fight in bare knuckle under your belt as well, that
Yeah,
experience, means a lot, right?
yeah, totally. Listen, the thing with BKB, it doesn't matter how good you are. It doesn't. People that think, yeah, but I'm a good boxer, mate. It don't. You got to have a massive set of balls, right? You got to learn to when you get hit, it's having the courage, massive courage to go. Let's go. Where some people go, I'm going to go back in the changing room. I'm going to lay down on the floor here and not get back up. I mean, there's having that courage to go, right, let's go now. Let's go to work. Yeah, you know what I mean? That's having the courage to do that. So I like to think I've got that courage.
Yeah. Obviously, was this was your fourth fight in BKB now?
Yes.
Um,
Two wins, two losses.
yeah. How are you do you think you're getting used to it now? Do you think you kind of getting the ropes a little bit?
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. I'm BKB. I'm a BKB fighter now. So yeah. It's 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 weird to explain to people. When people go, why are you doing that? You're like, it's like a drug. It is like a drug. I'm not a drug taker or nothing like that, but I can feel it like what drug addicts do when they go, I've got to have the next fix. That's what BKB is. I mean, I need to get punched in the head again.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of the fighters on the roster, because obviously a lot of the guys come to the shows as well, even if they're not fighting. I remember on the
Yeah,
last show, I saw Johnny Jones, and he was saying like, oh, I really want to get out there now, just being around that
yeah.
environment. Yeah.
It was mad. All the fighters come back in the change room after, and they were like, "Mate, watching you fight and what you just did there makes me want to get in there and fight now." And like, it's lovely to hear people say that. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? And yeah, it's sport. Listen, it's a fantastic sport. And it's only going to get better.
Yeah, because yeah, it looks like you seem pretty comfortable in the ring now. I mean, it's interesting watching the kind of like, because obviously you're kind of like that traditional glove boxer, but then like you also have kind of like developed these kind of like bare knuckle instincts there, because it's slightly different, isn't it? So it's
Yeah,
interesting kind of seeing that kind of those
it's
things,
totally.
habits
Yeah,
creep in.
but as weird as it sounds, I feel safer in the ring than I do out on the street. It's weird to explain, and I don't mean that in a thuggish way. I mean that in I know what I'm doing in there. I love it in there. It's like home, and it's not being a thug or anything like that. It's just I just love being in there, and that's what I want to do. I want to be in there constantly fighting and learning my trade, because you don't matter how old you are, you're constantly learning, you're constantly improving, and that's what I want to do. So next couple of fights, hopefully the next fight is going to be for a title.
Does it say the rematch is looking for the rematch with Levitchi then?
Yeah, I don't. We have put it over social media,
Hmm.
and Levitchi said, "Jim and Joe, let's get it on." He listen, he'll fight his own nanny if he has to. I mean, he's a fighting man, just like myself. No bullshit. We're gentlemen. We shake hands, and we entertain the crowd. May the best man win, and then that's what we're like, and that's what we want to put on the table for everyone. And if you think that fight was good, imagine what the next one's going to be like.
Given how the way the last fight went, is there anything you do differently? I suppose you would go for the knockout then to not leave it to the
Yeah,
judges.
I would come in with longer arms and try try and keep him on the end of the jab. Yeah, you can't with Levitchi, you can't really stand him because he's shorter than me. And as I did say, I kind of suffer with shorter people because I normally like to sit in there and fight, where I'm always the short person. But it was like to box, and that's why in the end you just see me boxing in the end, just hitting him and moving, hitting and dancing around. And yeah, you can't stand it with him because he punches so hard that if I like, don't think them punches weren't hurting because they bloody were. But I'm so experienced that I know how to fanny it, if that makes sense.
Hmm.
I know how to dance around and make him not, because if he connected again after that, right, he was hitting me with ones and twos, and if he'd come out with three and four, I probably it would have been a good night. But my experience of getting me weathering the storm and then popping him off with a jab. So to his two shots, I was hitting him with four jabs. That's what I had to do because he's one tough man as well.
Yeah.
And I hit him with a crunching right hand, and he spat his gut because every time I did hurt him, I think everyone could see him. He spat his gum shield out. So
Yeah.
that's experience. I mean, because believe me, if I was hurt like that, I would have done the same. But yeah, so that's you know what I mean. That's a part of the trade where we experience, and he's a fighting man just like I am.
Yeah. I don't know how much research that you did kind of going into the fight, but I mean, Levici looks really different than what I expected him to come out as. I don't know if you thought
Right,
that as well.
well said. Yeah, well said. I all the fights I watched him, he's pretty done the same thing, swinging, and I expected him to come out swinging straight away, and put loads of pressure on me because that's what I want him to do. So I'll pick him off and move away. He never did none of that. He boxed like a proper boxer, where I had to go and kind of hunt him down. And that's when I run it once again. I did it in my previous fight where I walked straight in the straight line, thinking, "Don't worry, I can take a shot." It ain't about how much you can take a shot. First punch you threw, I ended up getting cut. I mean, and it was a horrific cut where it changed the whole game plan. Where now I've got to go, I've got to box here and be sensible. Because if I take any more punishment on that, it's going to open even more. Like, and it was to the bone. Like, I think the TV, you could see it when it was on TV. You could see it was to the bone.
Mm.
So yeah, I had to do a lot of changing around that night.
Yeah, because I mean, I thought, and I even said this to you on the night as well. You know, I thought he was going to come in and just start charging at you. Obviously, he
Yeah,
didn't do that. He was really patient. You know, he
yeah,
was. It was weird to watch actually because I was just not used to seeing him
yeah,
fight like that. But
yeah,
obviously, yeah, I
yeah,
think patience is the thing that he had in that fight that he didn't
yeah,
have in the last fights, and clearly it works pretty well for him.
yeah, yeah. Well, it's the best. Personally, that's the best he's ever boxed.
I agree.
And yeah, I thought he boxed Stab, but once again, that's when I had to let him draw in to keep coming in to me, which he was always coming forward. I had to pick him off with a jab. I mean, and I forget I had a cut, but you can see his face after. Just like he was cut as well and badly bruised, and yeah, it was. But listen, it was a great fight for the crowd, and hopefully we get to do it again for his title.
Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate you didn't win, but the fans certainly did that night.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Listen, there was only one winner that night, and that was the fans. No, listen. Thanks to Jim and Joe for putting me on their show again, and yeah, and thank you for even to Levitchi for giving me another opportunity. Hopefully, it gets signed so we can fight on in May. Back at the O2, I think it's going to be at the O2, and yeah, and yeah, just thank you, and just keep supporting the journey.
That's George Hillyard, fresh off his fight with Ionel Levitchi at BKB 36. Our next show is March 30th in Wolverhampton, which is